Under Government Code Section 54953, a member of the board can attend remotely due to emergency circumstances, which includes a physical or family medical emergency that prevents a member from attending in person. The board is permitted to take action to allow remote attendance in that circumstance. This is despite the matter of remote attendance not being on the published agenda. In order to entertain the option of remote attendance, Mr. Land is required to provide a brief description of the circumstances relating to his need to appear remotely. President Land, you are not required to disclose any medical diagnosis or disability or confidential medical information. Can you please give us a brief description of the circumstances?
I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is a Spanish interpreter. Do you want an interpretation announcement or in the defect being assigned?
Not yet.
Thank you.
Hi. So my apologies for not being able to be there, but I have an urgent matter that I had to deal with my mother. And so I had to fly down to LA yesterday unexpectedly. So.
Thank you very much, Trustee. Do I have a motion to allow Trustee Land to attend tonight's meeting remotely?
I move.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Second. Okay, so motion by Trustee Jacobson and second by Trustee Chavez. I will do a roll call vote for the rest of our vote. Trustee Jacobson?
Yes.
Trustee Griffin?
Yes.
Trustee Chavez?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion passes.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Let me go back down. Okay. Yeah, I just having trouble with my hand here. All right. Okay. We're going to do a roll call now. Trustee Chavez?
Present.
Trustee Jacobson?
Present.
Trustee Griffin?
Present.
And I am present. Thank you.
Trustee Land.
And Trustee Land, excuse me, sorry.
I'm present too.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go on with the Pledge of Allegiance, and our student board reps are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'm sorry, I missed introducing our interpreters. Tonight we have a team from Hannah Interpreting as our Spanish interpreters. For those who would like to attend the meeting virtually in Spanish, that option is available. Hannah Interpreting, would you please communicate that for us this evening? Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Andres Zúñiga. Good afternoon and welcome to this session. In order to provide language access, this meeting will have simultaneous bidirectional interpretation into Spanish and American Sign Language. If you're bilingual, you don't have to click anything. But if you're not bilingual and you're using your laptop, in a few seconds, you'll see an icon shaped like a globe at the bottom of your screen. Click on Language Interpretation and then select English. If you're using your phone or an iPad, then locate the three-dot menu in one of the corners of your screen. Click on Language Interpretation and then select English. When you speak, do so at a moderate pace because the interpreters are going to be simultaneously interpreting everything you say. A efecto de proporcionar acceso lingüístico, esta reunión contará con interpretación simultánea al español y lenguaje de señas americano. Si usted es bilingüe, no tiene que presionar nada, pero si usted no es bilingüe y está en su computadora, en unos segundos verá un icono en forma de globo en la parte inferior de su pantalla. Haga clic en Interpretación de idiomas y después seleccione Español o Spanish. Si está en su iPad o su teléfono, entonces busque el menú de 3 puntos o que dice More en una de las esquinas de su pantalla. Haga clic en Interpretación y después seleccione Español o Spanish y después aceptar, finalizar o done. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. If you wish to view closed captions of this meeting, please view the meeting on the SMUHSD board meeting YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel can be found on our website. You may view the captions in English as we live stream our meeting tonight, and you may view the captions in a variety of other languages if you choose to watch this after the meeting has ended. Viewers may request additional accommodations by calling 650-558-2201. For our deaf and hard of hearing community, we have a team from Hannah Interpreting Services, and they will be interpreting our meeting this evening. We would like to ask everyone to speak at a clear and reasonable pace for our interpreters. Thank you. Okay, since we already did the Pledge of Allegiance, we will go on to public comment. Let me see. If you are joining us in person and wish to make a comment about an agenda item or during the public comments section at the beginning of the agenda, please fill out a request to address the board form and submit it to the secretary. This form should be given to the secretary before the agenda item begins. If you are joining us virtually, use the raise hand feature on Zoom to be recognized. When invited to do so by the board president for each item on which you wish to comment, you will be admitted to speak as a panelist during your public comment period. The board president will call on you. Please note that the comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board president may increase or decrease the time allotted for public comment depending upon the topic and the number of persons being wished to being heard. When we call your name, there are a large amount of folks wanting to give comment. So I'm going to limit the comments to 2 minutes. Please stay within the 2 minutes to be courteous to other speakers that would like to also be heard. Let's see. We begin with those who are wanting to speak in person. And Ms. Aquino, do we have anybody in the audience that has requested to speak?
Yes, we do. Our first speaker will be Miss Erica Parker. You can go to the podium. And
oh, can I say one more thing? I'm sorry. So just a reminder that this is public comment, things that are not on the agenda. So unfortunately, our board cannot respond, but we are here to listen to what you're having to say. So thank you.
First of all, thank you all for allowing me to speak first. And I want to just reiterate what the superintendent said at the beginning of the school year in his message, which was, we are here to listen to people and to know that we are sharing and to know that we are trying to understand differences from other people's perspectives. And I come to alert the board in hopes of shining a light on conduct that's been challenging to me at San Mateo Adult School. And I really want to be seen for what's been going on. Unfortunately, the information the director has is very different from what I see. What the director has written in a current letter of warning is completely different from what I have experienced. It's been difficult to clear my name. Just recently, I have been able to start the process of mediation, and I'd like to continue that with an opportunity to not have the letter of warning put in my file before the mediation concludes. I am concerned that if this behavior on the current administration is occurring in October, that it is leading toward a December 2023 non-re-elect for me. I am hoping and thankful that Mr. Black's secretary sent an email today to say that I could meet with him. And Mr. Black, I really hope that you will allow me to listen to my claim. And many union members.
I'm sorry. Just if you could just start wrapping it up because it's almost
Yeah,
it's been
many
it's been-
union members.
Thank you.
Many union members and teachers have made it clear that nothing can be done to help me, and that sharing this information with this board today will ensure my non-re-elect. I am sensitive, aware, and scared. I am scared to present this information to you right now. And the words I'm saying to you, I'm hoping you will help me and not help me, and
I'm
not
sorry,
help
you're,
me.
you're over
And I'm just
time.
asking for you to help me
Thank you
with
very much.
mediation. Thank you. I just want mediation,
Yeah,
please.
thank you very
with
much.
2 classified staff.
Thank you.
That's all I'm asking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Tamara Donovan? Hello. It's good to see you all. Honestly, I didn't expect to be here again. You've heard from me, and I thought I had said all that needed to be said. But I'm here today in support of my colleague, Erica Parker. We didn't get a chance to work together long, but in the short time I got to know her and was fortunate enough to collaborate with her, I can attest to the simple truth that she is an amazing teacher. Loved by her students, she brings an energy and passion to her classroom that I've rarely seen. Using technology in a new and engaging way, making her students feel valued, prioritizing their success over her own rest, bringing food and setting up a buffet to foster a true classroom community that has students clamoring to be in her classes. Her students love her and love coming to school. She is truly indefatigable. Sorry, that was my favorite vocabulary word in elementary school, but it describes Erica perfectly. I love the English language. I love the adult school and its mission. I miss it greatly, but I'm happy that there are still so many teachers like Erica who are giving it their best every day. I know how hard they work in the face of many challenges. Erica bravely expressed from her heart the challenges she is currently facing. Her situation is eerily similar to what happened to me. Pay attention, please. She's afraid. She's not alone, and losing her as a teacher would be a great loss to the school and the people it serves. I just wanted you to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Ron Patel?
Thank you all. I'm deeply disturbed by Superintendent Booker's lack of leadership and failure to condemn the evil attack launched in Israel this week. I'm not sure if it's close ties with Samia Schumann, who is a clear anti-Semitic views have cluttered this vision. I'm calling for the board and the superintendent to issue a public condemnation for the horrific, barbaric acts. Hamas is no different than the Nazis. If anyone in this group cannot condemn the beheading of babies, raping of women, burning women alive while the crowd is cheering, slaughtering hundreds of defenseless people at the nature party, then you are condoning these actions. Silence is complicity. This should not be a political discussion. It should be condemnation of evil anti-Semitic atrocities carried by barbarians. I would like to quote a portion of President Biden's speech this week. There are moments in life when the pure, unadulterated evil is unleashed on this world. The people of Israel lived through such moment this weekend. The bloody hand of terrorist organization, Hamas, a group that stated purpose for being is to kill Jews. This is the act of sheer evil. More than 1,300 civilians slaughtered, not just killed, slaughtered in Israel, among them 27 Americans. Parents butchered, using their bodies to protect their children, stomach-turning reports of babies being killed, beheaded, entire families slain, young people massacred while attending a music festival to celebrate peace, Women raped, assaulted, paraded as trophies, infants in the mother's arms, grandparents in wheelchairs, Holocaust survivors abducted and held hostage. It's abhorrent. The brutality of Hamas and this bloodthirstiness brings to mind the worst rampage of ISIS. This is terrorism. There's no justification for terrorism. There's no excuse. Hamas does not stand for the Palestinian people. It doesn't stand for the right for dignity or self-determination.
Please
Its
start,
stated purpose,
please start
I heard
wrapping
you.
up
Thank
your-
you.
Yeah,
Its stated purpose is the annihilation of the state of Israel and the murder of the Jewish people. They use Palestinian civilians as human shields. They only offer terror and bloodshed. End of quote. I ask the boards not only to openly condemn the horrific acts, the evil acts, but also to prohibit tomorrow's planned rally by the extreme faction of the Palestinian community to celebrate the massacre of the Jews. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Savannah Rosenbaum.
Our district's failure to include Jewish history in our curriculum has left me deeply concerned. This issue has been bothering me since freshman year in ethnic studies, when I was told we didn't have time to cover the subject of anti-Semitism or Jews as an ethnic minority. How can that be? My disappointment continued into sophomore year, when in world history, the persecution of Jews was barely mentioned. The Holocaust annihilated 6 million Jews, but that isn't covered in our history classes. How can that be? Our district's ethnic studies course, per the website, says that, and I quote, students will be studying the histories of race, ethnicity, nationality, sexuality, and culture. Students will cultivate respect and empathy for individuals and solidarity with groups of people locally, nationally, and globally, so as to foster active social engagement and community building. But end quote. But Jews aren't part of the curriculum. We aren't considered an ethnic minority group that warrants education understanding. How can that be? I've kept my thoughts about this issue to myself for a while now, but this attack on Israel was a tipping point for me. When I walked into school Tuesday, I was alarmed at how normal most people were acting, and I felt out of place. Those around me seemed blissfully ignorant of what their Jewish peers were going through. The silence and inaction of the non-Jewish students and faculty on Tuesday is what made me realize I need to be a part of the change and that it needed to happen now. Our schools preach representation, but when it comes down to it, Jews aren't part of the equation. How can that be? I'm upset, scared, and angry. Upset at the way the district ignores us, scared for the Jewish people, and angry with our district leadership for misrepresenting this attack on Israel. We all know that when history isn't taught, we are destined to repeat it. I'm asking that our district do better. Teach history, discuss current events, and actually cultivate respect and empathy for individuals and solidarity with and between all minority groups.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you.
Jessica Rosenbaum.
Following an atrocious invasion into the sovereign state of Israel, the words of our superintendent caused Jews more distress, anger, and fear than we were already experiencing. On top of the anti-Semitism that was already prevalent on our campuses and the hate crimes that have been perpetrated on our students, including my son in the not too distant past, what's happening now is unconscionable. Rabbi Adam Greenwald, a wise friend, said something so obvious it's brilliant. The Middle East is very complicated, but this moment is not. That there is never an excuse for the intentional targeting of civilians for rape and for murder. What happened this weekend was new. It was atrocious. Hamas committed war crimes. Civilians were not inadvertently killed. They were targeted and viciously attacked. Superintendent Booker either does not understand how very different, how much worse these attacks were than anything that has occurred in the past. Our children are lonely and they are afraid. They are finding it necessary to educate their teachers on the brutality that occurred. They feel compelled to state that harming citizens of Gaza isn't okay, even though they never thought it was okay, but they feel they have to say it because it's not a given. Our kids have very real fear for their friends, their family, and other loved ones in Israel. They know people who've already been killed. They fear for those who are still there. They are consoling their peers. They are checking in on each other. But who on campus is checking in on them? The ignorance and the silence are unacceptable. They deserve and desperately need better. Superintendent, now is the time for leadership. And that includes the unequivocal statement from you that Israel was attacked by terrorists and that terrorism is always unacceptable. Never again, and never again is now.
Thank you.
Natasha Kimakar, I apologize if I said that incorrect.
Superintendent Booker, members of the Board of Trustees, I speak to you as a decade-long resident of Foster City and a newly minted and proud Bearcat mom. On Saturday, I learned of the atrocities being committed by Hamas, a named terrorist group in Israel. My name is Natasha Kihemkar. I'm an Indian Jew. I trace my ancestry back over 2,000 years to Jews who were shipwrecked off the western coast of India, just south of Mumbai. Unlike almost every other part of the world, Jews in India were welcomed, and we lived in harmony with our Hindu, Muslim, Jain, Sikh, and Christian friends. I'm married to a Chinese Hawaiian Jew, and I have 2 South Korean children who are Jewish. My cousins are in Israel, and I have 7 million extended family members there and 8.3 million across the rest of the world. I read the past board minutes when I became a Bearcat mom, and I noted that the district has spent several $1,000s on DEIB training for employees, staff, and faculty. So I will be blunt. Sir, your emails this week left me shocked and disturbed, terribly disturbed. When we refuse to use the word terrorists, we legitimize and normalize war crimes, brutality, and inhumanity against all Israelis, Jews, Christians, Druze, Bedouins, and Palestinians. When we neglect to name Israel, we legitimize its invisibility. And history has shown that delegitimization of Israel leads to waves of anti-Jewish and anti-Semitic sentiment. Words matter. My mission is to combat hate by building coalitions. So I am not calling you out. I am calling you in. This board has 5 stated responsibilities, among which are providing support, ensuring accountability, and providing community leadership as advocates for children, the school district, and public schools. Members of the Board of Trustees, let us enable you to provide support for your Israeli and Jewish students by using clear and accurate language to describe the terrorist attacks and the risk to our students.
I'm sorry, can you wrap up your?
I will,
comment?
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Let us support you as you ensure accountability for those who dare suggest these atrocities were earned or deserve legitimacy. Be swift and on point with disciplinary action against anyone who spread lies, bullies, or endorses hate. And finally, let us support you as you provide community leadership as advocates for our children. Protect our students from seeing videos that terrorists plan to post on social media. Send a letter to parents with a warning about our students
I'm
accessing
sorry, we
social
have a
media.
lot of speakers, and I want to hear everybody.
And importantly,
Okay, you're way over time.
Hamas and its supporters have declared tomorrow World Jihad Day. It is critical that the district take extraordinary measures to ensure our students are safe now and in the future. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Matthew Parks.
Thank you. This morning, I found myself on a conference call with Christopher Wray. For those that don't recognize the name, he is the director of the FBI and the most senior law enforcement officer in our country, responsible for the 38,000 person strong FBI. Never would I have thought I'd find myself on such a call, but as president of a local synagogue, I was on the call with leaders of the Jewish institutions across the country. Along with Director Wray were senior officers from the Secret Service, the FBI, and the CIA. They were briefing us on the state of the safety of the Jewish community in the US and abroad, providing guidance for keeping our community safe, and letting us know that they're mobilizing the FBI counterterrorism and fusion centers to identify potential threats. Think about this. This was not delegated. One of the most powerful leaders in our country took the time to hold such a call on short notice. It is an extraordinary and powerful statement from our federal government, and sad. Earlier this week, President Biden gave a speech in which he spoke about the threats to the Jewish communities both abroad and in the US. He included an impassioned plea that this is the time to act and communicate with complete moral clarity. I urge you all to watch this speech. Jews represent 2% of the US population and represent 55% of religiously motivated crimes, according to FBI statistics in 2021. These are not made up, not fake. They are real, documented, and verifiable statistics. Director Ray told us this morning that they are releasing their 2022 statistics next week, and these numbers are not expected to decline. How did we get here? We are here because of misinformation, equivocation, and propaganda circulating both on social media and even in our schools through curriculum provided by organizations such as the Radical Liberated Ethnic Studies Program, which you, this board, is responsible for signing contracts for. You heard from Savannah.
Could you start wrapping up your comment, please?
As president of my congregation, I have more than one of my congregates, all San Mateo district parents, ask me if they should be keeping their kids home from school, from your schools. The students and parents are afraid of abuse, comments, indifference, and physical harm that they might come from their students and even their teachers. What do I tell them? Where Jewish people are afraid, like
Sir,
anything
you're
in
way
April.
over time.
Fine, I
Everybody
will wrap up.
Everybody gets a turn.
I
so
will wrap up.
please.
We are afraid. Our fear is rooted in physical, mental safety of our students and community. Superintendent Booker, the irony of your email is you are also afraid. You are afraid of taking a stand. You are afraid of saying something unpopular. You are afraid of speaking with the moral clarity that our president and so many of our other real leaders speak of.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop.
Our
because we
fear
have-
makes us resilient. Yours makes
We have
us
other speakers now. Thank you. Thank you.
Ornette Rose.
Before the next speaker speaks, it's 2 minutes because I want to respect all of your time. And if we go overtime, we're going to be here for a very long time and not hear everybody. So please be respectful of each other and stick to the 2 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Ornette Rose, and I want my children to be safe and seen. I am the parent of 4 kids, all of whom will make their way through Aragon High School. I have long loved our high school and always tell people that they are lucky to be a part of our district. But this week has caused me to question my confidence in the district's ability to educate my kids. And that is, at the end of the day, what you are charged with doing, educating our children. We as adults know that we must lead and teach by example. When the district describes what is unfolding in Israel as violence in the Middle East and takes a both-sidism approach, I can only believe that this ignorance about and insensitivity to the particular Jewish experience extends to the schools and their teachers. And I fear that if the teachers aren't encouraged to address this historic dehumanization of the Jewish people, teachers who we entrust to teach about the Holocaust, then our district students will not know the gravity of the historic moment we are all witnessing. And if the students aren't taught by the teachers, I fear what information they will receive instead. Among the information they received was the superintendent's woefully insufficient and sadly inaccurate statement. It lacked the anger, horror, and anguish that it should have. So our kids don't know that they should view this as something terrible. Among the other information they will receive is through social media. They will see brutal images and videos of what Hamas has done to civilians and not know what to do with that information. They will also receive information by supporters of this terrorism, telling them that the Jews living in Israel deserve this and had this coming. They will see also that Hamas supporters have called for a global day of jihad tomorrow, and they will be rightfully scared. That's the education our children are receiving right now because the district has decided to turn a blind eye to the depravity of what's happening in Israel. We teach by example, and the recent lesson our district has given the Jewish families and students is that it doesn't care about us.
Thank you.
Steve Weiss.
Weiss. Good evening. Tomorrow, there is a call for a day of jihad by a former leader of Hamas. He urges people to, quote, deliver a message through the squares and the streets, a message of anger. What does this really mean? He's advocating for violence against Jews. Our schools have sent emails in the past warning of dangerous TikTok challenges or weekly COVID cases. But what about the potential threat posed for the call for jihad? Where are the emails reassuring us that hate crimes will be prosecuted and that our schools will be safe tomorrow? Are you stepping up security? I haven't heard anything. Anti-Semitic attacks have quadrupled since Saturday. How can my daughter feel safe at her school? We all need assurance that Jewish students have your support, and Superintendent Booker, your emails to date have not shown that. Silence is complicity. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Adrian Abrams.
Good evening. My name is Adrian Abrams, and I'm a parent of 2 students at Hillsdale High School. More than anything, I want our children to feel safe and feel seen. Like so many of us, I am absolutely heartbroken, mortified, and overwhelmed by the atrocities and terrors that took place in Israel. I am also someone who wants peace. However, today, my focus is specifically on our children and the lack of support and deafening silence that they have been experiencing. I love our high school and typically feel so passionately in the education and support our children receive, but I'm scared for them. Leadership starts at the top. The lukewarm statement you put out sends a clear message to your principals and teachers that you do not care about each student equally. In your attempt to not offend anyone, you completely shut out your Jewish and Israeli families. All I want is for leadership to exhibit the same compassion for everyone, to really show our children that you care. You have expressed specific support for so many other minority groups in the past, and your Jewish families are always allies. But today you have failed us. I know you can do better. Please rethink how you are messaging your community. Every child deserves to feel seen and to not be marginalized. As our leader, you have the power to instill this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica Pleja.
It's Jessica Plitt.
Oh.
My name is Jessica Plitt. I'm a proud parent of a current knight and 2 future knights. I am also a civil rights attorney with the Department of Education Office for Civil Rights. I want to bring your attention to a recent Dear Colleague letter that was published on May 25th, 2023. It is a recent letter, and you have been already advised at the uptick of anti-Semitism in our schools across the country. Therefore, OCR issued a letter based on the nationwide rise in reports of anti-Semitic harassment, including in schools. This letter was issued to ensure that schools are obligated to understand their legal obligation under Title VI to protect Jewish students. This letter can be found at www.ed.gov/OCR. It is required of all public districts in the United States to ensure that you are enforcing the protections against harassment of Jewish students. Now, the understanding, so that you understand this, Title VI protects all students, including students who are perceived to be Jewish, who are or are perceived to be Jewish, from discrimination based on race, color, national origin. So, for example, if they're subjected to ethnic or ancestral slurs, harassed for how they look or dress, or their association with Israel currently. And if that harassment is severe or pervasive, then that is subject to discrimination. And we want to ensure that our students are not subjected to discrimination. Those students could file complaints with the Federal Department of Education and the Office for Civil Rights. Please don't let that happen. Please protect our students before that does. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jack Rose.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Jack Rose, and I want my children to be safe and seen. I'm a Jewish parent of a graduated district student, 2 current students, and 1 future student. I want to express my disappointment in the district's message of support to our community on Tuesday. I appreciate the follow-up apology, but that fell short. Despite the fact that several parents reached out to many of you before a statement was issued, imploring the district to denounce one of the worst instances of anti-Semitism in modern history, expressing support for our scared students and assuring them that our schools will remain safe spaces. Instead, we got a vague, woefully inaccurate statement about developments unfolding in the Gaza Strip. This completely ignored the reality that the murders and hostage taking of defenseless Jewish citizens occurred in Israel, perpetrated by Hamas terrorists. I've personally witnessed a shocking, heinous act of terrorism, having been in New York City on 9/11. Now I can say that my oldest son, who was in Israel this past weekend, had to live through a civilian catastrophe 10 times worse than 9/11, if you compare the percentage of lives lost in one day to the overall country's population. Why should you all, and other district parents, our teachers, kids, and peers of all backgrounds feel concerned about these horrific events occurring thousands of miles away? Among many reasons, but because Jews have suffered atrocities like this time and time again, no matter where we live or how assimilated we are, from antiquity up to and beyond the Holocaust. After Israel, our ancestral home, the largest population of Jews is in the United States, and many Jews choose to live and raise kids here in the Bay Area. We sadly continue to be exposed to disgusting and ignorant anti-Semitism in our own community. Just a few months ago, our synagogue was spray painted with a swastika. For a district that is so proud of DEI program and anti-racist ethnic studies teaching, how can you not denounce one of the oldest and most recurrent forms of racism, anti-Semitism, and its modern euphemism, anti-Zionism? I beg you to reevaluate our ethnic studies curriculum and include teaching about Jewish minority experience and divorce it from liberated ethnic studies, anti-Zionist, and anti-Semitic teachings. How can our kids expect to feel safe and equitably treated if our district doesn't understand the gravity of what's unfolding? The Jewish experience is part of the diversity of this district, and the district's messaging about this horrible targeted massacre and war has left us feeling hurt, unheard, and invisible. That is why so many of us have come here tonight. We implore you to do better, to hear us, to see us, and unequivocally support our children.
Thank you.
My apologies if I pronounce this incorrectly. Yifa Yalan? Thank you.
Thank you. I will be very brief. My name is Ifaya Roan. I'm a proud Bearcat parent of a 9th grader, and I can't speak much. I've spent the past few days since late Friday night in anguish and worry and utter devastation, as has been expressed by many of my community here today. And I just want to react to the statement, Mr. Booker, that you put out on Tuesday, citing development in the Gaza Strip, with an apology later for inadvertently not mentioning the state of Israel. And I just cannot imagine, any other country where such atrocities could have happened, where you would inadvertently omit the name of the country and the people affected who are connected to people in the community here. I just want you to think, as I echo what has been said today, how invisible that makes this community feel. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elissa McQuaid?
Hi, my name is Alyssa McQuaid, parent of a Hillsdale Junior, and I want to thank you for the time today. I'm echoing a lot of the sentiment that you heard from a number of my friends and colleagues before. We're very disappointed with the words and the email that came from Superintendent Booker earlier this week and the follow-up email as well. While I understand we can't go back in time, we can't change the atrocities that are happening in Israel, and we can't change the words that were already said, I'm asking the board and Superintendent Booker to consider what action we can take going forward. I love what Savannah had to say about actions there. I also would like to share another action that we can take together to enable our students to feel more safe and seen. I advocate doing this by engaging them, our students, in a dialogue. Did you know that Hillsdale has a Jewish club? There's also Middle Eastern clubs on campus. And my bet is that a number of you are parents of students who have similar clubs on other campuses. Pull them into the dialogue, meet with them, find out what support they need, how they want to be seen and safe and heard, what they need to feel safe. These are our future leaders. You've gotten them this far. Trust them, engage them as passionate, intelligent, educated community members, and pull them into this conversation. They welcome support from the superintendent and the administration to work across the district to support one another, and they meet almost every Friday. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
I apologize. I cannot make out the last name. The first name is Lelit.
Hi, my name is Lily Dave. I'm also a mother of a student in the district. I'm not going to take a lot of time because it will be pretty much a repeat of all of my colleagues here and friends said, but I just want to support them. I also want to say that since tomorrow is announced, Jihad Day, I want to feel safe. I want to feel my daughter is able to go to school safely. And I don't feel that right now, not due to the message that came out of the superintendent, nor the fact that it has been ignored. Also, I want to share that private Jewish schools have canceled schools tomorrow. So it's not in our heads. It's something that's real and it's impacting us and our kids when they come to school here. And I would like to feel you guys hear us out and support our kids to feel safe in school tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine Teitelbaum.
My name is Catherine Teitelbaum, and I'm the parent of a BHS senior. I want him to feel safe and seen. He felt safe and very seen last May. He stood right here. You invited him here. You invited him to co-author a Jewish American Heritage Month proclamation, which now is on the district website. And when you did this, I felt so seen in a way that I haven't since we came to this district. And I was so proud of the district, so pleased that he had this opportunity. He's active with the Jewish Club, Jewish Culture and Heritage Club at BHS, but also everything that was in here. And I want to remind us all of what is in here. It goes into some history, which I don't have time to read, but it does say that San Mateo Union High School District is committed to providing a safe learning and working environment that is free from discrimination and harassment. It goes on with a list of things that we all denounce, including bullying, hazing, hate incidents. And it says that San Mateo Union High School District shares an obligation to condemn and combat anti-Semitism wherever it exists, to include all Jewish Americans in all facets of civic life, and to stand with this community against hatred and bigotry in our district and our country. When you adopted this, I felt safe and very optimistic. My son was empowered to further engage, and he has. But I feel like the silence and the lack of guidance currently is undermining that feeling. As others have mentioned, so I won't go into detail on that either. Tomorrow is a national day of jihad. I don't know how to wrap my brain around that. How is that possible? And how is that possible here? I don't know what the plan is for tomorrow. And I really feel like I should. And I hope we will by the end of this evening or when we get home and get our email later. What is the plan to protect everyone's children? Because if Jewish children are targeted, everyone's children are targeted, and the teachers and the principal, everyone.
Sorry, please try wrapping up.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to know if you have a plan, and I want to know for sure that you plan to uphold the promises that were laid in this proclamation just a few months ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last in-person, Lori Lou.
Thank you. My name is Lori Liu, and my daughter is a ninth grader at San Mateo High School. Prior to starting high school, she attended Warnick Jewish Day School in Foster City. So coming to public school was a very big adjustment. It was much larger, more diverse, which we welcomed. And I was hopeful that the school would be supportive of families from all backgrounds. However, when I received the superintendent's message, the original message, I was struck by how it did not mention the attack on Israel. I was glad to see that others called it out and wrote in, and the superintendent sent a follow-up message. Yet his update did not go far enough. While he stated that he, quote, condemns all acts of violence and aggression, he failed to say anything about the 1,200 lives that were lost in Israel in the Hamas terror attacks. The news has been absolutely devastating this week. And it is more important now than ever that the Jewish community knows that we have allies and support from the school district. This is not just a, quote, conflict, as stated in the superintendent's initial message. It is a massacre. And not calling it out as an inhumane attack against Israel is like labeling Black Lives Matter as all lives matter, which really means that no lives matter. I know that the superintendent did not intend to offend the Jewish community, but as he noted, his words had that impact. I would encourage him to issue another statement promptly, expressly condemning the attacks on Israel, which will show my children and others that they can feel safe at school. Also, I urge the district to create and share a plan with parents for addressing the current trauma specifically felt by Jewish students to ensure that they feel safe and heard. After the events of last week, I urged my daughter to wear something to show her support for Israel, something with Hebrew letters or a Jewish star, and she was scared. She didn't. We just found out just a few hours ago that our Jewish day school is closed tomorrow. And my daughter said, am I safe? Should I go to school tomorrow? I urge the superintendent to issue a statement immediately in advance of tomorrow, emphasizing that all students, especially Jewish students, are safe to go to school tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other in-person comments? No. Okay. We will move on to our virtual comments now. Please remember that you have 2 minutes to allow other people to have a chance to speak. Go ahead.
Miss Jennifer Blanco. You may go ahead, Miss Blanco. You may unmute and start, Miss Blanco.
I apologize. I thought I turned it off already. Good evening, everyone there in person and everyone online here. Good evening, Trustee Superintendent Booker, Administration, and Ms. Aquino. My name is Jennifer Blanco, and I'm a trustee in San Bernardino Park Elementary School District and one of the founding members of Latino Leaders Coalition of the Bay Area. This month for Latino Heritage Month, we several Latino colleagues and a couple of superintendents got together and planned the 4-part speaker series. And tomorrow is part 4. It's our last one. And I am asking for support from we have a student.
You're breaking up, Ms. Blanco. Breaking up.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
It's better.
How about now? Okay. And tomorrow night, as part of the student panel, we have Elizabeth Garcia Arias from Hillsdale High School, who will be representing San Mateo Union High School. We have a student from each of the Union and Unified school districts here throughout the county. So we have students from Daly City to Pescadero, who will be facilitated by a conversation with Superintendent Diego Ochoa from San Mateo, Foster City. And I actually called today asking and speaking with Ms. Aquino, was asking to see if Superintendent Randall can attend tomorrow in support of Elizabeth Garcia Arias, and if Superintendent Booker is not available, if we may have a representative from your district to come and support your student. So we'll be at Bayside Performing Arts Center. We start at 5:45. We're having a mini lowrider car show, and we have a professor from Skyline College who will be speaking before the student panel. And thank you very much for your support, and we hope we have a representative from your district supporting Elizabeth. You all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Candace Thomas. You may unmute, Ms. Thomas.
Hi, my name is Candace Thomas. I currently teach at Mills High School. I would just like to say that it is not true that history teachers do not teach about the Holocaust. That's false. We don't talk about it in ethnic studies because, and excuse my language, we would do a shitty job. And so we wait to do it in world history so we can give it the respect and seriousness and severance that it deserves. So that is why we do not cover anti-Semitism in ethnic studies. Second, I would like to send my heart out to my Palestinian brothers and sisters who have family who are also experiencing violence, who have also died in this war and in the attack. And I have several Palestinian students, and I just want to say I see you, I stand with you, and you are in my prayers, and I hope that your families are staying safe and free Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Mandel.
Okay, order, please. Order, please. We need to get through the speakers. Order, please. Thank you. Okay, order.
Hi, can you guys?
Hey, we need
guys
to
hear me?
hear everybody. Thank
Oh,
you.
wow, there I am.
But
I wasn't
we're
sure
trying
how
to hear the rest of the people who have comments. So please, thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Mandel.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I want to join the comments of that I've heard earlier tonight in disappointment by the email communication from Superintendent Booker and also from Principal Fong that came out this afternoon. You know, the actions of Hamas this past weekend were the actions of a terrorist organization. The actions were terrorism. They just went onto Israeli land and killed as many people as they could, took hostages, raped women. You know, these were not freedom fighters, these were terrorists. President Biden, I think, said it really well, very concisely, succinctly. He said, this was an act of sheer evil. More than 1,000 civilians slaughtered. I think it's a lot more at this point, not just killed, slaughtered. Parents butchered, using their bodies, trying to protect their children, stomach turning reports of babies being killed, entire families slain, young people massacred while attending a music festival to celebrate peace. Mr. Biden rejected suggestions that the attack was understandable, given what critics consider to be Israel's repression of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. Mr. Biden said, there is no justification for terrorism. There's no excuse. Hamas does not stand for the Palestinian people's right to dignity and self-determination. Its stated purpose is the annihilation of the state of Israel and the murder of the Jewish people. Therefore, I think it would benefit all of us to have a statement from the San Mateo Union High School District that the actions of Hamas are evil and amount to the worst type of blind hatred and anti-Semitism against Jews. This is especially important considering that there have been repeated swastikas drawn on the walls of Burlingame High School. We must forcefully act to identify this as terrorism and anti-Semitism and state unequivocally that it is not acceptable. Please take action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh Weinberg. You may unmute and begin, Mr. Weinberg.
Thank you. I want to begin by praising Principal Fong for her actions last year when there was anti-Semitism on the Burlingame high school campus, and she took incredibly quick action and pulled together a great group of parents, community leaders to address it. And we really felt supported as a Jewish community when that happened, and also when she attended the Jewish Students Association this week. I was also disappointed by the superintendent's email, but I'll give a little more leeway because you have to really understand the nuance of the issue to craft a great email. So I think I'll put that behind me and ask that we act differently going forward. And the biggest thing that I would ask is that we not draw moral equivalencies. There is, yes, of course, pain on both sides, but it is not equivalent what is going on both sides. There's incredible terrorism and horror happening to the Israelis. And I hope that as the district moves forward and makes statements and does email communications and talks to students, that they are able to acknowledge that this is not a whatism, a whataboutism, or an also-ism. That there is an unbalanced amount of terror going on here. And I hope the district will be able to acknowledge that going forward. And once again, thank you for the past attention to this. Can see where your heart is. Let the heart come through in the communications. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Timothy Jacobson. You may unmute and begin, Mr. Jacobson. Thank you.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Great. I wasn't planning on saying anything this evening, but I'm just so moved by the statements made by members of our public. I am not a member of the Jewish community, but my comments are not for the board or for Superintendent Booker. It's to them. I just want you all to know how deeply I feel what you're going through. And I want you to know that you're not, as a community, alone in this, that there are many of us who are standing with you, who see you and who love you. And so I just wanted to voice my support to you directly, and hope and pray that this never happens to anyone ever again, let alone you. That's it.
Thank you.
Two more.
Okay, are there any more people online?
No, I'm sorry. We're online. That was the last speaker.
Okay, we have two other. Okay, I'm glad.
I didn't expect to come back up here, but I just want to take note, and I hope everybody here takes note of the anguish and desperation that you heard this evening from so many people about real terror that have affected our extended families, our friends, and instilled fear in our hearts. And to have a history teacher come online and say Free Palestine to the audience here leaves me actually shocked and speechless.
Thank you.
Mr. Patel.
Thanks for letting me speak again. Of course, the Mills teacher, her comment were abhorrent. I just want everybody to understand that we need to educate the teachers as well. Free Palestine from who? From who? Throw us to the sea? Kill us all? What do you mean free? Telling us the history did not start? The Jews have no place in Israel? Last time I checked, Jesus of Nazareth is in the Galilee. It's in Israel. It's in Judea. That was way before Islam. To tell us that somehow we just got there from Europe, that's abhorrent. My family has been there for 3,500 years. This is how someone who's been there in the Middle East. I'm brown. Some of my family is from Africa. Some of my family is from the Middle East, some from Iraq, some from India. This is how we look like. We've been there 3,500 years. They want to throw us to the sea. They want to kill us all. That's what they're teaching our children. And you need to stand against those teachers. You need to educate those teachers. Thank you all.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else online or?
I have another online.
Okay, it is 8:05 and we have a longer agenda. So I think this will be the last speaker.
Candace Thomas.
Hi, I don't want any slander against my name. So I just want to say, I do not support violence against Jews. I do not support violence against.
Order, please. Order. You're going to have to listen to her too. We all listen to you. Please stop. Please.
I do not
Stop. Hold on.
support.
Wait. Miss Thomas, 1 second. If this is what it's going to be, please leave. Because everybody has, whether you like the opinion, whether you don't, everybody gets a chance to speak. We are a democracy. This is what it is.
Please don't leave. Hold on. Please don't leave. I'm going to ask. Wait. I just want to say this one thing. I'm going to ask. No.
He is.
We need the full sentence. Free Palestine. From Jordan to the sea. That's what it means.
Just order.
That's shameful. The phrase is to massacre all the Jews. Shame on you.
I didn't say that, sir. Sir, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
You know what? I'm not about to argue with you.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
y'all. Bye. They don't want to listen, so bye. I just want to say, I do not support anti-Semitism. I am not anti-Semitic. I would like it on the record. I do not support violence against the Jewish people. And I want that on the record.
We just did.
I'm thinking to send my child to school.
Okay.
My child is the co-president of the Jewish Club at Hillsdale High School. How do you think I feel sending her tomorrow to be part of her club? I grew up in this area. I have never felt safer than I have the last couple of years until now. No one ever thought that this was going to happen. And for a teacher to come out and say free Palestine, a history teacher that doesn't know the rest of the words and teaches that to our students. Yes, we are open. Yes, we are liberal, but come on. And I'm leaving. Thank you very much.
Okay,
May I
thank
say
you.
one more thing, Superintendent Booker, if you don't mind. I sent an email to Principal Fong. There's a students in Burlingame High School that sent to Jewish kids in San Mateo High School an email that Hitler did not finish his job. They said because he did it in social media and not in school, she cannot handle it. Okay, I want to make sure that you understand. This is a Palestinian kid who wrote it to Jewish students. Their parents called me. I was their football coach. I was the basketball coach. The parents, the kids called me and said, can you help me? All right, I'm still waiting for a response. Hitler did not finish his job. And that's what we have to hear. In our county.
Okay. We will move on with the meeting. Can we take a 5-minute break, please? Thank you.
Can I make a few comments? Okay. So I asked you to stay because I was going to ask Trustee Zuniga's if I could move my superintendent announcements up on the agenda so I could speak now. Would that be permitted?
You know, the board would have comments. I would hope before. I mean, I will defer to you. But certainly the board may want to have their comment.
For sure.
Yeah, well, I wanted just to give us some time to recollect for a second. I know I'm feeling a lot. This has been a really difficult week, so if we could just take 5 seconds or 5 minutes, please. Yeah, if you want to speak while we're taking a break.
I would like to speak at soon.
Yeah, we'll get, let's get Superintendent Booker on first, and then we will reconvene.
Yeah.
So we're taking a 5-minute break?
Yeah, I just need a second.
Yeah, no, we all do. For those of you that don't know, there's restrooms right down the hall here. There's also water fountains.
I want to take a moment. I do hear you. I've read every single email. I've reflected a lot over the last couple of days. Today, I spent time with Rabbi Feder and a few parents from the Jewish community. And I am deeply sorry for the hurt and the pain that I've caused. I recognize that I've caused pain and I've caused hurt. It doesn't matter whether I didn't intend it, I caused it. And I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for the hurt that everyone's feeling. I'm sorry that I didn't immediately call out Hamas as a terrorist group and condemn those actions. That's what I believe. And I'm sorry I didn't do that. As a member of the community came up and said, I can't turn back the clock. I have been working hard over the last several days to ensure our students' safety, our Jewish students' safety. I did connect with San Mateo Police Chief, who did connect with the county superintendent and all of our police chiefs up and down the peninsula and the FBI about the safety of our students and our staff and our community tomorrow. I have asked for additional police presence on our campuses and around our campuses. I can share that through the FBI, it was communicated to me that at this point, they don't have any credible threats. I'm just communicating what they communicated to me. As I attempted and it didn't land, and I'm understanding that, student safety is first for me. Students cannot be educated, they cannot learn if they don't feel safe. And so all I can do tonight is say, I'm sorry. I need to do better, I will do better. I'm sorry to our students. I appreciate our students that are here tonight that have spoken or that are in the audience or are watching online. And I'll continue to listen and learn. I need to work through a lot of emails to offer responses, and I'm sorry I haven't done that yet. I've been focusing on student safety and school safety, but I will get to those emails. And it won't, as a parent wrote to me and said, please don't offer a form response, I won't. But it will take me time. I have many emails with which to respond. So I'm sorry, Ms. Thomas doesn't speak for me, doesn't speak for my leadership. And I just want to continue to recognize the pain and the hurt that I've caused and the pain and hurt that our Jewish community is feeling right now. And all I can offer in this particular moment is just my deepest apology. I am very, very sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to governing board comments now. I think we all have something to say. We can start with Jennifer Jacobson, please.
I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I want to thank you for what you've shared. We need to hear it. We need to have, we all need to be educated. I am not a Jew. I am a Christian, and I have a lot of Jewish friends. And as a Christian, I believe in grace and forgiveness and second chances. And I think that we owe that to Superintendent Booker. I thank you for reaching out to him and helping him to understand, helping us all to understand. I had some remarks prepared. I do want to say to the student, Savannah, I thank you for calling attention to what your concerns are and where the holes are in your education. I have 2 daughters at Hillsdale. While they did learn about the Holocaust in the section on World War II, they received nothing about Israel and Palestine. Everything they know about it has come from our direct teaching at home, and a lot has been said this week. Our students need this kind of education, and our students need to know that what happened against the Israeli people on Saturday and throughout this week is evil. It is brutal. It is vicious. It is anti-Semitic. It is unconscionable. And it is carried out by Hamas, a terrorist group whose sole mission is to exterminate Jews and eliminate the state of Israel. This terrorist group has no regard for its own citizens. I've heard my Jewish friends talk about moral equivalency. I understand what that means. Now is not a time for moral equivalency. Now is not a time for weighing in on Israeli and Palestine and critiquing policies and anything of that nature. Now is a time for mourning with those who mourn and comforting those who stand in need of comfort. And I am here to do that with you. Thank you. Love you.
Trustee Chubbs. You're not ready. Trustee Griffin, do you have some comments?
Thank you. Thank you for turning out this evening. I think, and this is my personal opinion, and so we are a board where we operate as a board. I'm one member of the board, but this is my personal opinion that the terrorist attacks on Israel by Hamas were horrific. The brutality and loss of thousands of lives, I think, is just senseless. I do support Israel's right to exist as a sovereign nation. My thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of these terrorist attacks. I think the brutality that we've seen, and we're all, everybody I've talked to just feels just so terrible about the events. It's a major setback for peace anywhere in the world. I mean, we're all subject to it. Now, some of us are more subject to it, but certainly it doesn't bode well for Jews, Israel, or anybody. I hope that the world will focus on humanitarian efforts to bring relief to that area. And I really want to see a lasting peace, a solution brought there. I'm a school board member. I'm not an expert in international diplomacy or anything, but I wanted to express my thoughts. I think we work hard to provide a safe, secure environment for all our students. And I emphasize all our students, and we need to continue to do so. And I was glad to hear that report this evening from the superintendent.
Thank you. Trustee Chavez.
I get a little emotional when I speak sometimes, so you may have seen me tear up here earlier. I want to thank everybody who spoke. Is it on? I want to thank everybody who spoke, from our students to our parents to our staff. Some staff. Thank you, those here in the room and those that spoke virtually. I echo what my colleagues here have said. The attacks were horrific, and unconscionable. I can't say that word, unconscionable. They were acts of terrorists. And a couple of days ago, I was listening to thoughts and comments. I heard folks say this is their version of 9/11, but it actually is playing out to be worse, right? As the days go on. And I just want to say thank you for everyone being brave and bold for coming here to share. I know that sometimes it can be fearful. But you guys are also brave, and you're also educating us. And I know you hit Trustee Jacobson, you said you're not Jewish. I'm actually 50% Jewish, and she knows more than I know. So I try to tap into her knowledge. My father, one of his parents was born and raised in Poland, and the other one in Austria. So my father, I wish he was here today so I could ask him a lot more questions. I don't know much about my ancestry. I do know that I'm 50% Jewish, and watching this unfold on the news is just horrific. Although it wouldn't matter to me what my background was, this is not acceptable for anyone, and no one should have to be fearful to send their child to school. No one should have to live in that fear and wonder, am I going to see my kid at the end of the day? No one. And I thank Mr. Booker for reaching out and finding out information about tomorrow's events, and reaching out and asking for more security and informing us that he's done that. And I have a lot more to say, but we stand with you, and we stand with our Jewish community. I stand with my own community. I just wish that I knew more about my culture from my dad's side. It's special. Thank you for coming, and thank you for speaking out, and we stand with you.
Thank you. Trustee Land, do you have a comment?
Yes. First of all, I just want to thank everyone who spoke in the audience today. I really appreciate their words and how they feel. I was going to prepare a statement, but unfortunately, I'm going through my own family stuff, and I'm really dealing with a lot. So I am going to say a few things because I think I have to. So one, I'm just going to agree with Trustee Griffin and condemn the acts of Hamas, the atrocities. That is condemnable. Violence doesn't solve anything, and Hamas should be condemned. I feel horrible for the Jewish people, Israel. I think that is horrific what they're going through, and I want to acknowledge that. I want to thank Superintendent Booker for his words tonight. I think they're important, and like Trustee Jacobson said, I do believe in grace. And I believe in several of the speakers of what they said about we're moving forward and making sure that we are seen and that we are safe, and our kids, our students, our Jewish students feel sane and safe. I think I'm concerned as a principal. I'm not at my school, and I hear what everybody is saying in the room, and I hope my school is safe tomorrow. And I want that to be a safe place for all students. I have Jewish students, I have Palestinian students. I want them all to be safe. And yeah, I'm sorry I didn't prepare a better statement. I've just had a lot of personal things going on right now. So that's all I can say for right now.
Thank you. Well, I mean, there's just so much emotion. This is really a difficult time for you all, and I also stand with you and support you, and also our my concerns are for the students. I think I'll echo, I don't want to repeat and echo what everybody says, but I just wanted to address the students and the safety that you all feel lack of right now. I can relate in the sense that there are also a lot of genocide and stuff in our culture as well in Latin America. And that feeling is really, really horrible. But I do want to ensure you, like Superintendent Booker said, that you will be safe tomorrow. I want to take up, one of the parents had said that it would be good for the different clubs to meet and for the students to have a voice. And I think that's very valid, and that's very important. So I don't know, maybe there is a way, Superintendent Booker, to bring the students together students have to feel safe at school. I don't remember who said it, but it's true. Like students cannot learn if they don't feel safe. It affects their mental health. It affects everything, and even just what, you know, families are going through. It's all relative. So I just want to tell you that, you know, we do support you. We have students all over the district that, you know, feel the same. We also had some other issues with some violence happening this week with one of our students. So there's just so much. I don't even know what else to say, but I don't think anything I can say can make this, you know, better or go away. So all I can say is that we stand with you and we hear you, but we also want all of our students to be safe as well. So yeah, if we could get our students together, that would be ideal. Maybe, you know, some of the parent groups, they want to host something to have a conversation without like hitting each other with words. I think that's important to bring our community together. So thank you very much for your bravery to come here tonight to speak very candidly, very honestly about what you're feeling.
Excuse me, Trustee Andrade Zuniga. We have one person who asked to speak who has not spoken this evening.
Okay. The problem is we already moved on from that item. We will be out of compliance.
Unless we agree to have another set of public comments, the board can agree to do that. I support that.
Do you want to open up another?
I move we reopen public comment for this person.
I second that.
So are we going to have any discussion before we take that vote?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have to
So if we open up for one, then we have to open
open
up.
it for
Maybe
everybody.
just a new, as long as the person didn't release a comment. There's not that.
Or, you know, if they missed the comment period, we don't normally do that.
I know, but the board can vote and allow another public comment. I did that 3 years ago. We needed to.
Okay.
But I think,
It's only if the board agrees to.
well, everybody came here knowing that they had time for public comment and everybody respected that. Again, like, it's not that I don't want to hear people, that the problem is that if we do open it, then we have to open it up to everybody.
Only those that have.
It's only
spoken.
fair.
Only those that haven't spoken yet, so.
If you guys could speak through your mics, please.
Yes, sorry. Ms. Aquino, how many cards do you have? Just one?
Just the one.
Okay. Well, Trustee Jackson made the motion. I seconded it, so. Anybody want to take a vote?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do the roll call. Trustee Chavez.
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin.
That's fine with me.
And I'll say aye, and Trustee Land.
Aye, but I definitely heard what Mr. Griffin was saying. I agree.
Yeah, fair is fair. I think can we do a new motion? I'm going to say with the exception of this one speaker. Okay, I move to open up public comment with the exception of one speaker, and then we will close public comment.
With the exception or to just allow?
Just to allow.
Is exception to the count?
Oh, right, sorry. So I will open it up for one speaker and then we will close it.
I'm sorry, point of order. We voted. We can allow the speaker. It's been a motion, a seconded and voted. So we're allowing the speaker. That's
The one speaker though, but I'm
sorry. Yeah, it's just a point of order because we already voted and we all voted unanimously so that we can allow the speaker. It's already existing.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
I actually wouldn't like to speak today, but.
If you could go to the microphone, please.
I wasn't planning to speak today, and my comment is really to what I'm hearing here. And I thank everyone for sincere apologies, for comments, for the effort. But I think what's important, it doesn't matter really how much you know about the Middle East, the conflict, the relationship between the Jews and the Arabs or anybody in that region. The first and foremost action to take is to condemn terror as human beings, because what happened in Israel, it's undescribable, it's unspeakable, and it has nothing to do with one's knowledge of the region, of the conflict, of the politics, of the government support, of personal political views. So it's really not even that. It's just, offering your compassion and your humanity to your community. That's what I wanted to say. And to Mr. Land, I'm sorry, I don't want to bring the Burlingame School District into this, but we received even like a terrible message from them in one sentence, mentioning the earthquake in Afghanistan, the conflict in the Middle East, and the Eastern European conflict. And I'm sorry for that. So that was the Burlingame School District. So I can really see this board is trying. But again, I think it's across the board. We need to do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think it's fine. Does anybody need a break after this, or can we keep going? Keep going? Do you all need a break? You need a break? You sure? Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. We will go on with our next item, the recognition of our proclamation of Filipino American History Month. I will give it over to Superintendent Booker.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I'm going to take a moment as people exit.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
You guys take in 5 minutes?
Huh?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I was waiting for people to exit.
I can't hear.
She asked if we're taking 5 minutes, but we're waiting for people to leave to go to the next item.
Okay, sorry. It's confusing.
It's over. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Could you email us though? Send us an email. Yeah. Thank you. I can't. I'm sorry. It's past. I apologize. Thank you.
I'm going to move on. Is that okay? Thank you. So this evening, we have a proclamation. And once again, we are joined by Bianca May Santos, who is an 11th grader from Mills and from our Student Board Council to read the proclamation for Filipino American History Month. Bianca contributed to the drafting of this proclamation, and she'd like to also share with you her thoughts on what the proclamation means to her before she reads it. So I'd like to welcome Bianca May to the podium.
Thank you. Members of the board, Superintendent Booker, members of the cabinet, and the public. I would like to begin by saying that I am deeply honored to stand before you. As a young Filipino American of this district's vibrant and diverse community, it was a privilege to play a part in the process of drafting this proclamation that acknowledges our rich heritage and contributions to the tapestry of our nation. I also want to recognize the generations before me of Filipino immigrants and of Filipino descent, born and raised in this country, many of whom have made sacrifices, left behind loved ones in the Philippines, and worked hard, including my grandmother, Melito Dionisio. She was a pioneer in the nursing profession during the height of the HIV epidemic in the 1980s and 1990s. My great-grandmother, Clarita Dionisio, who came before and dedicated her life as an elementary school teacher from the early 1970s. However, Filipinos are much more than just nurses and teachers. We are powerful and active in politics, advocates for positive change. We are passionate artists and inventive musicians. Our talent and abilities span across various fields and industries, contributing significantly to the growth and enrichment of our society. I have sought to embrace and celebrate my heritage by actively participating in both my local community and at Mills High School, striving to promote awareness beyond cultural stereotypes and build meaningful connections that will strengthen our collective identity. As we delve into this October as Filipino American History Month, it is a celebration of traditions, customs, and achievements, a time for reflection for our commonalities and differences. Let us unite with pride for the hopeful promise of what lies ahead. Let us amplify our voices, exchange and share stories, and embrace the diverse world we live in. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much. And now I will read the proclamation. Proclamation, San Mateo Union High School District, recognizing October 1st to the 31st, 2023 as Filipino American History Month. Whereas the Filipino American National Historical Society had declared the year 1988 to be the 225th anniversary of the permanent settlement of Filipinos in the continental United States, and had set into motion its year-long national observance to focus on the story of our nation's past from a new perspective by concentrating on the economic, cultural, social, creative, and other notable contributions Filipino Americans had made in the countless ways toward the development of the United States history. And whereas in 2009, U.S. Congress recognized October as Filipino American History Month in the United States. And whereas efforts must continue to promote the study of Filipino American history and culture, so mandated in the mission statement of the Filipino American National Historical Society. Because the role of Filipino Americans and those of other people of color have been neglected in the writings, teachings, and learnings of United States history. And whereas it is imperative for Filipino American youth to have positive role models and to instill in themselves the importance of education, complemented with the richness of their ethnicity and the values of their legacy. And whereas the San Mateo Union High School District has an important role to commit to educating students and the larger community about the history, traditions, and diversity of the Filipino American community. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the San Mateo Union High School District hereby proclaims the month of October 2023 as Filipino American History Month and encourages all residents to honor Filipino American history and culture. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great.
Can I make a motion to pass this proclamation?
Second. And okay, we'll do the roll call vote.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I'd like to honor my family, my extended family, my in-laws. Being part of the Filipino culture by marriage is an important thing. You've inherited lots of aunties and uncles and moms and dads and lolos and lolas. And I just find it a rich experience of learning in my life for the last 29 years or so. And my daughter, so I just want to honor my daughter, Alex, my wife, Rose, and her family, and her mom and dad who passed, Narcy and Bernie. Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. Are there any other comments from the board? Do you all want to say anything?
That proclamation is a well-written and well-read proclamation. And I just wish we'd had as many people here for your reading as we had here earlier. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Salamat po.
Yes.
How about mahal na mahal kita?
That means you love us all. Just so you know.
You are right, President Land.
Yes, thank you so much. And we're so proud to have our student board reps and our student council reps here. So yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Superintendent Booker. Oh, yes. We need to do a roll call.
So on the roll call vote, we're going to ask the students first.
Yes, thank you. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't see your names. Can you turn them for me? Thank you. Kareen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jasleen.
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin. Trustee Chavez.
I had to make sure my mic was on. Sorry.
Aye.
Trustee Land.
Aye.
And I vote yes. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Superintendent Booker, is there anything else that you wanted to say or anything after this proclamation?
No, just big thanks to our students and all of our students across the district.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
And thank you for waiting around. I mean, it's been a while, so I know you guys got here earlier, so thank you. Okay, we will move on with our agenda. Moving on to consent agenda, item P. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Students, do you want to say anything? No?
No, she's asking.
Sorry, it's later on. I'm sorry, it's later on.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah,
a
they're
report
both coming.
up.
Okay.
I've lost a few friends.
Oh, no.
It's okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. All right, consent agenda. If there are any items that are not going to be pulled, can we get a motion to approve that consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent as is unless somebody wants to pull something.
Thank
Second.
you.
Okay.
Second, thank you. Okay, trustee Jacobson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Chavez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Land?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes. Going on to regular reports. Superintendent Booker, I think you said you already did yours. And then can we have the report by our student board representatives?
My name is Corinne Suherman, and this is Jasleen Lai. She's taking over for Kaya Jimenez today. We are excited to tell you about our next two student board council representatives, Zuring Cheng and Bianca May Santos, who was just here. They are excited to take over and represent us in the following board meetings: the students of the San Mateo Union High School District Student Board Council for the next quarter of meetings. At our upcoming Student Board Council meeting on Wednesday, October 18th, we will have a special guest, Manager of Multilingual Learners, Miss Joanna Feit, who will be sharing with us about our district schools' support services for English language learners and their families. We will have a chance to ask questions and do some brainstorming.
We will also be learning about meeting protocols, including Robert's Rules of Order. Future meetings may include the council receiving Brown Act training. We're also excited to announce that because Superintendent Booker hosted a meeting of local leaders recently, some of them have agreed to visit our council. Mowbray's city manager, Thomas Williams, may be our first speaker, and we look forward to sharing what we learn.
Thank you. Okay, going on to the report of the District Teachers Association rep.
Good evening, Vice President Zuniga, members of the board and district cabinet. I can't help but mention the enthusiasm that the students use to describe Robert's Rules of Order. It truly is a riveting topic, and one that I try to study often. So hopefully they can enjoy their time. I was going to say a few things tonight, but I want to focus on the issue at hand. I know you heard from Vice President Lauderdale at the study session and some representatives from Peninsula High School about staffing and the concerns about staffing at Peninsula. It's a complicated issue, and I implore the board. Let me step back. I don't mean to say that the board is not taking interest in it and not addressing it or not trying to find a solution, but I do implore the board to look carefully and deeply at the issues at Peninsula High School. In some cases, there are systemic problems, some systemic concerns, and in many cases, it comes down to a situation in which we need to really define what Peninsula will be for our district now and into the future. It's a longer discussion than we have time for, but it's something that's extremely important, not only to the teachers there, my members, but obviously, of course, to the students and the families that we serve in that environment. So an ongoing discussion. With respect to the issues that were raised tonight, First, I don't want to get into any kind of positional arguments or statements with a couple of exceptions. First, as Mr. Booker said, Superintendent Booker said, and some of you echoed, student safety is of the utmost importance to every teaching, everyone in the teacher corps, and I would argue every district employee. It's something that goes without saying. None of us went into this profession for the wealth and the fame. We do this work because we care about students and families. So to hear folks question educators' role in student safety or the integrity of educators' roles in student safety is troubling. That said, I understand why it's happening, and I understand where the current concern, from where it arises. I also want to say, as a parent of students in this district, as a parent in the community, and as every other parent in the room tonight, of course, student safety is of the utmost importance, and you should be concerned. You should be concerned about whether your students are safe at school, and it should be a given that they are. I just want to make sure that I pledge and I state very clearly that our role as educators, all of us, is to provide a safe learning environment in the care of your students and in the students of this community, and to serve the families, all families of this community. And yeah, I don't want to say much more than that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 4, report of the CSEA Chapter 519 rep.
I'm already up here. Good evening, everyone. And I'm going to say, I'm going to just say my usual report and run, because I would like to coin that term for me to get in, tell you what's going on, and get out of here. So our reopeners were approved and ratified by our unit members, and I believe it's on your agenda to be approved this evening. Hooray. We can put away all of 2022-23 and look forward to our negotiations in January. I want to set the date now and an agenda so we could finish it in a good amount of time and not have a drag like it did this past year. I think right up with reading the rules of Robert is going to benefits meetings. That's been great. So hopefully that can all get resolved soon. Whatever the district chooses, we're going to be with it, because it seems like every time you look, it's like, oh, this one's better. Oh, that one's better. So is there a better one? I don't know. Also, we have a lot of programs that processes that we initiated with our update in our tentative agreement, whatever it was. And we're going to be working on getting those done. There's a safety committee that has to get to work. I'm going to be working with Sandra Fewer on that. And then our pilot program for reclass, we're going to be doing that. And we're going to be very busy. So thank you, everybody, and have a lovely weekend. Burlingame has their opener this weekend, correct?
Yeah.
Party, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
anniversary,
celebration.
centennial. Have fun. Thank you.
Okay, next item, report of the San Mateo Adult School Teachers Association. Hello.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Booker, Board President Land, Vice President Andrade Zuniga, members of the board and district cabinet. I am Angela Taylor, Director of San Mateo Adult and Career Education, and I am pleased to share with you the latest developments and progress within our educational programs as we navigate another dynamic semester at the adult school. The health of our programs continue to flourish and grow, with enrollment numbers close to that of our pre-pandemic figures. This semester, we currently have 2,042 students in our ESL program, 122 students in our GED high school diploma programs, and 120 in our career education programs. Our ESL program is in the process of expanding access to beginning level ESL classes for parents in the San Bruno community. We are working with one of our staff members who is a Capuchino High School parent and member of the Latino Parent Association at Capuchino to collect parent input on the learning needs of that community. Our ESL program coordinator, Lisa Sparks, has also been in touch with the San Bruno Park Elementary School District to gather data on parents' needs. We currently offer a literacy level ESL class at Bel Air Elementary, and due to its success, have received numerous inquiries and one from the administration at Allen Elementary to offer ESL classes for parents. As is well documented, children's literacy levels and academic success are often tied to the literacy levels of their parents, and we are working diligently to support not only the adult ESL community, but the parents of the students in these districts as well. I want to take a moment to give a very special thank you to Vice President Andrade Zuniga for her mentorship and education around adults with disabilities. Because of her invaluable influence, I am excited to announce that we will be launching our very first Patient Care Fundamentals course in spring 2024. This short 8-week introductory course is a highly recommended prerequisite for other health-related classes and includes basic healthcare communication, understanding medical documentation, and more. Upon completion, students will become certified and able to access early entry-level jobs in the field. A representative from the San Mateo County In-Home Supportive Services Program will be on site to discuss immediate job opportunities with students. This will be built into the classes. In further news, our Excel Regional Consortium, a collective of local adult schools, including San Mateo Adult, local community colleges, Nova Works Development Board, and other community partners, was among 51 California adult education consortia out of a total of 71 selected to apply for the $130 million English Language Learner Healthcare Pathways Grant offered through California Department of Education and the Chancellor's Office. Chosen grantees will receive a portion of the award over 3 years to develop and sustain healthcare career pathways for our ELL learners in 7 health sectors. We are very excited about this opportunity and are working closely with our partners to develop our proposal. Community engagement continues to be a priority for the adult school, and I'm happy to announce that our community career fair held on September 15th in partnership with Job Train and the Veterans of America was a total success. Over 150 attendees participated and met with 28 employers ranging from the United States Postal Service to the San Mateo Police Department. The adult school will be holding our annual Halloween celebrations for staff and students this year. Pumpkin carving, classroom door decorating, best costume contests are among the fun activities we have planned. And the holidays are near and we have more to come. Thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to special reports and appearances. Go ahead, Superintendent Booker.
Thank you very much. So this evening, I'd like to bring to the attention of the board our sustainability dashboard. This is something that was shared to me by Mr. Hawkins and is a result of a number of people, but I was so impressed with it that I thought this is something that not only the board should be made aware, but our community as well. And so after tonight's presentation, I'd like to work with Mr. Hawkins on how we can publish this dashboard and push it out to our community of students, educators, and families. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Booker. We are really excited to move forward with that. And I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully this works.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it. So the Sustainability Committee has been really doing some exciting stuff over the last few years. And last year it teamed up with the San Mateo County Office of Education, Environmental Literacy and Sustainability Initiative, through funding with Peninsula Clean Energy to fund a sustainability dashboard for the school district. So our maintenance and operation team teamed up with the Sustainability Committee and San Mateo County Office of Education to draft what you're going to see here. So this will go live in the next couple of days. We wanted to show you guys first before it went live, and we'll be working with Miss Chalkley to get it on our website and on there. So it's a comprehensive look at sustainability throughout our school district, really focusing on utility use. And so we have some welcome, and we also have a school, we have a school overview that you can go to each of our schools, and it notes important information concerning total building area, campus acres, number of students. And so we have, each of those starts with Aragon, it's alphabetical, but then it really gets into a lot of, it notes also who provides our electricity, who provides the water for each school, because different of our schools receive energy and water from different providers. But when we really get into the exciting stuff for me is the utilities breakdown. And so when we look at the water breakdown, we note by school over here. And so this is water use by student. We also have total water usage, the total cost of water use of about $750,000 in the school year. And then this is our usage throughout the year. And it makes sense because a majority of our water is used in grass, landscaping, and so very large during the summer months, and then especially last year where we had a lot of rain, it moved. So this is actually a couple years ago, but it's the same pattern every year, and you can see site by site. And as we add more and more years in this, we'll be able to look at how we are different years. How different construction projects like the stadium field and the Fields complex at Mills and Cappuccino impact that. We also have our waste breakdown, similar on each of these. We have by use, by student. And then what I think is really important is how much is being recycled, how much is green waste, and then how much is going into our landfills. And so obviously we would like this pie chart to look a little bit different as we're moving on, that we're diverting more and more of our waste out of the landfill and into recycling and compost. So that's one of the big things that the Sustainability Committee is working on. Energy as well by site. We've got per student amounts and electricity and gas. And then lastly, energy emissions breakdown. We have average CO2 emissions per student per year. So not only is this a great tool to show the community what we're doing, it's a great tool for us to look at what our efforts and to monitor how our efforts are impacting our sustainability efforts and then how we judge those. The really exciting thing is all of this data will be made available to our teachers and our students. So when they're working on projects, they can use real world data, including our schools. So we are incredibly excited for this. And so I'm happy to answer any questions.
So is this a software as a service, or do we own that software, or what?
Yeah, it's through Tableau. So yeah, it is software as a service. They paid for the initial, I believe, 2-year through the grant. And they paid for all of the programming to update. And then the sustainability committee, they don't have a large budget, but they have set aside some money each year to put the data into the service. And so it's not too expensive to do that. And then we're also working to get an automatic feed from some of our services, including PG&E, so that data can automatically be uploaded into the software. It's a database software.
You answered the second question before I asked it,
Oh,
which is
okay.
very, insightful, because I was curious if this thing could actually take the feed off of bills or connect with websites to update. But right now it's a manual update.
It's a manual. PG&E will be the easiest for us to do because that's even our sites that have Peninsula Clean Energy that's through PG&E. So, and that's a typical bill. Water, we receive it from several different sources, so that'll take a little while. Our debris company is kind of a mom and pop, so we'll try to help them out and get them there. So
I do want to just acknowledge that why I brought this in front of the board was really not only to share our data and this dashboard, but in my opinion, how much of an unbelievable teaching tool this document is. If you just go back to the water breakdown, please, and go to Aragon. I mean, this is a conversation to have with Aragon students. We use 6.3 million gallons of water per year.
Wow.
That's stunning to me.
Mhm.
I didn't know that. I didn't know the how do you put that into context? How do you help students put that into context? And, I know we're not in a drought right now, but those things are cyclical and water is a precious resource. So how do we conserve? And this is an excellent teaching tool, I think. And then, $91,000 a year. If we even reduce that by $20,000, think of what we could use at Aragon with $20,000 directly for students. So it's things like that to get students thinking not only about their time, and I'm not picking on Aragon or anything, it's any of these schools, but it's an opportunity for students to think about sustainability in their environment in a way that, in my opinion, is extremely tangible and thought-provoking. And that's why I wanted to bring it before the board.
Thank you. And it makes me think about the environmental clubs, and maybe they want to do, something with all of this information. I know that even San Mateo County has their youth, like a youth environmental commission as well. And so maybe we can be, the first district to do something important like this. So I'm sorry, Trustee Jacobson, I think you had your hand up.
I wanted to ask, I remember we had some students, I think they were from Burlingame High School, asking for something like this. Is this, am I right?
Yeah, we've been working with several student
Have
groups.
you been?
Yeah.
Awesome.
We've a little bit embargoed this data until we brought it to the sustainability committee to make sure that they blessed this as, this was their project. So the final one went to our last meeting. So they blessed that. And as soon as it was blessed, we wanted to bring it to you. And we'll be getting out this, the website as well as the data, which I think to Superintendent Booker's point is just a really great teaching tool, conversation starter, for many of our classes. You can do a lot of projects, does have to be science or environmental science or things like that.
Yeah.
It could be math, it could be social studies, there's a lot of things that you can use this data for.
That's really cool. And student board members, I hope you take note of that and how our students can make a difference in the district.
Trustee Chavez.
I just want to say this is much more exciting than Robert's Rules of Orders. Okay, that came on loud. Can you go back to the slide where it showed, not slide, actually it's a website, right? Can you go back to the link and put all schools, select all schools instead of just Burlingame? I just came on loud. Let's see here. Okay, thanks. So we don't want students to think that we're spending too much on water, that they start drinking less water at school, because you can see here that most of the water usage is in June, July, and August, when school just starts in the middle of August. So of course, we're going to assume that that's watering facilities outside. So I wonder if there's any correlation to what school sites have turf versus grass on their football fields. And this is an unintended positive consequence that those with turf would have less of a water usage. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that students don't stop drinking water, please.
No, we've got plenty of water for students to drink, but no, there is a significant correlation between the turf and reduction in water usage. We're about to see the first 6 months data from the Mills and Cappuccino project because they are online. And so we're starting to look at those. So.
And you mentioned that this data is not from this past year, right? It's from a couple of years ago.
This is 21, 22.
So
they're in the process of adding 22, 23 because we just had the final bills and we like to add them full years by full years so you can do reviews. We didn't want to put 10 or 11 months in there and then have it, be an incomplete year.
So this data here doesn't include the new turf fields. It includes watering.
Very soon though, it will
great.
include the at least 3 months of the new turf fields at Mills.
Nice.
And then you could see that right here in the springtime as you look at that. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Comments? Okay, thank you. We'll move on.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. Oh, I'll go on to item 2. Sorry, I don't think am I right? Sorry, I've been so item 2, school promotional videos for Cappuccino and Mills High School.
I wanted to introduce Laura Chalkley, our manager of communications. She's done some great work around a number of promotional videos with last year and into this year. And so we identified Cappuccino and Mills as our next projects, and they're complete and ready to go. And we wanted to share them with you first. We're really proud of all of our schools, obviously, but we're working through each one of them. And right now it's Mills and Cap, and just really, really fantastic. So take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so pleased to be here tonight to share just 2 of the videos in our latest series. But I want to offer praise to my team, Sayer Happich and Dulce Hatch, who helped in the production of both of these videos, going out to the schools and helping to gather the B-roll, which that's a term that means the background video footage that's part of a video. But tonight, what I'm going to show you, we're going to show 2 videos. The first is from Mills and it's in English, and the second is from Cappuccino in Spanish. So in addition to what I'm showing you tonight, we also created for Mills a longer version video in Spanish and Chinese. And then for Cappuccino, we also included English. And then for each school, there are 3 shorter, what are called sizzle reels, and those are intended for social media. And so we've done 3 of those for each of the 2 schools. And I have to also give thanks to Valair Strategic Advisors, who's been our videographer in the project. And then we're currently in production on a video to provide an update on Measure L. So I'm really, really excited about that bond video, and I'll be sharing that with you in the coming months. But with that, we'll show both videos. So I'll say roll video to our team, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So what makes our school such a great place to learn is obviously just our faculty, our staff. We also have regular counselors, like academic counselors, that we share. We have a well balance of personal life and school life. That's always important. And just our teachers. Our teachers are so welcoming. The little things like saying good morning or how are you. I think that would make the school so great.
Mills best supports students. They have tutoring after school, so you could go there and they'll give you help with homework and different things like that. Also, we have wellness counselors, which you can open up about your mental health, and it's completely private. It's really good to just communicate with them about things that might be bothering you.
We have solid teachers at every level here. Here, the kids are organized in their thought. I think that they're sensitive to issues, they're knowledgeable, they're well-read, and that helps them to be ready and open to being musicians also. I'm hoping that being a musician also helps them in their academic pursuits also.
And I really believe that the arts are a really great opportunity for students to connect with things that they're passionate about and a very important part of their soul, as well as like a way and opportunity to shine. The visual and performing arts is where students that may not feel confident in other classes really have the space to be their full and true selves.
I really love being on campus. I think the campus is really beautiful, but also the staff is also like really welcoming, and they're always there, and it's always fun. Like there's always at least something in school where it's really entertaining. I really like my classes too. There's very flexible, easy classes to take, so counselors make that really easy.
So I have the pleasure of co-teaching leadership with our other activities director, Alexandra Deb, and this is an amazing space where students are able to create opportunities for engagement for school. So I'm really seeing our students take the lead on how to make Mills a welcoming community and a space for all. They're planning rallies, lunchtime activities, and orientations to really make sure that Mills is home for all of our students. Every day is filled with so much love and laughter in our class. They're making posters, they're meeting with other adults on campus, other students, to really make sure that Mills is just a fantastic place for all of our students.
I just started flag football this year since it is a new sport, and I really enjoy it a lot because it's a new sport that girls have been wanting to play for a very long time. So now that it's finally available, not only at Mills, but in the rest of the school district, I think it's super fun. Being able to be there with a team and getting to go on buses, extra practices, going out to dinner, it's a super community building, fun thing. Especially seeing your teammates in the hallways, it's so nice to see them and be like, oh, what's up? I'll see you at practice. And it's you're able to talk about things more, and it's super fun.
At Mills, we want a student's 4 years to be the best experience of their life and to create long-lasting memories, to be a time of transformation and of growth. And at Mills, our staff and teachers and all of the educators here really keep students at the center of our work and support them along in their journey.
Yeah, beautiful.
Para mí, Cappuccino es una de las mejores escuelas del distrito. Uno de los programas que tenemos aquí para los estudiantes son los deportes. Tenemos servicios de bienestar, tenemos servicios de apoyos y también tenemos servicios para... Para mí, Cappuccino es una de las mejores escuelas del distrito. Uno de los programas que tenemos aquí para los estudiantes son los deportes. Tenemos servicios de bienestar, tenemos servicios de apoyos y también tenemos servicios para la salud y también la salud de los maestros aquí. Una de las cosas que me da mucho orgullo y me da mucho alegría es de los estudiantes, porque entre ellos mismos son un apoyo que tienen aquí en la comunidad de Cappuccino, y también es algo que se enseña eso en las clases con los maestros y en ese tema también trabajan eso todo el año y preparan y ayudan y apoyan a los estudiantes para que sean mejor miembros de la comunidad últimamente.
Una cosa que me gusta de esta escuela, que me ayuda a aprender bien, es que los maestros y maestras me ayudan a entender todo. Todos me ven a mí como una persona y ayuda a que ellos entiendan qué ocupo yo específicamente para aprender lo que están enseñando.
Yo pienso que las conexiones entre los maestros y los estudiantes son muy importantes
porque son como nuestros amigos. Yo honestamente confío mucho en mis maestras y maestros y me siento a gusto hablando con ellos. Cappuccino ofrece muchas otras clases como data de investigación, cerámica, clases de cocinar, clases de español, clases de francés. A mí me encantó la clase de cerámica, pude trabajar con mis manos y me gustó mucho. Esas conexiones pienso que son las conexiones que para muchos estudiantes es la primera conexión positiva que tienen. Pero pienso que también los maestros aquí sirven como un ejemplo a lo que yo también puedo ser, ¿verdad? O el poder soñar, hacer algo más grande. Y pienso que en el corazón de todo está eso, que un estudiante se sienta apoyado. Aquí hay alguien en el centro o hay alguien que yo sé que me va a apoyar y que yo tengo las puertas abiertas de ir y que me van a asistir con lo que yo necesite. Ayuda mucho a los estudiantes porque hay veces de que uno no solo quiere estar como en clases, sino que hay veces tener otras clases diferentes o que puedan hacer de que tú te diviertas en ella. Yo tengo arte y pues para mí es una experiencia bien bonita porque a mí me encanta dibujar y pues al tenerla puedo expresarme o puedo hacer esto. Los maestros hacen que uno se sienta cómodo con ellos, estando ya sea dibujando o haciendo lo que a uno más le gusta. Son buenos para los estudiantes porque hacen de que ellos se diviertan en su tiempo libre. Pienso que la comunidad que tenemos es lo que hace esta escuela lo que es, que son los papás que contribuyen al éxito de sus hijos, que quieren lo mejor, nuestros estudiantes que tienen una hambre para aprender, para tener un mejor futuro, que traen lo mejor de ellos. Y pienso que también nuestro personal que se enfoca en el éxito de los estudiantes, que están en el corazón de lo que es la escuela. Pienso que eso es lo que contribuye y lo que es Cappuccino.
Muy bien, bravo.
Thank you. So we do have a plan to push all of our videos out. Starting tomorrow, they'll be uploaded onto our YouTube channel. So if you have the time over the weekend and you want to visit and watch all of the videos and all of the languages and watch the sizzle reels, they'll be there for you to watch. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to say that Ms. Chalkley's work is excellent. We Superintendent, Trustee Chavez and I were able, along with some of our board reps, were able to join her on Friday for our rebranding meeting. She runs a great show. So it was excellent. So very, very nice. Thank you. Thank you for all your work. Do we have any comments or questions from the board?
I just want to say thank you again to echo what you said. I mean, excellent.
Really well done. I think that video is just such a powerful medium for telling stories and communicating, and it makes me want to go to high school again in our district.
Okay. Okay. So now we'll move on to our next item. Item S, there's nothing for construction. So item T, Division of Human Resources.
The first two are consent, personnel actions and adult school transfers.
Great. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move adoption.
I second.
Okay. Motion by Trustee Griffin and a second by Trustee Jacobson. Can I get I'm going to do a roll call vote now. Trustee Chavez?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Aye.
And I believe Trustee Land had to go. So I vote aye. So motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Let's see, moving on to personnel action addendum.
Personnel action addendum, there's a couple of recognitions. One's an in memoriam. Sean Thomas, a school plant operation employee at Mills High School, passed away on October 4th. He died in his sleep. He had worked for the district for 13 years and 6 months. Retirement recognition is Bernadette Villarin. She's a facility specialist with our maintenance department, And she has been in the district for 22 years and 10 months and will retire at the December 30th. And that's all the recognitions.
Thank you. Do we have to, there's no motion or anything with that, right? There is. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the personnel addendum?
I move to approve.
Thank you. Motion by trustee Chavez.
Second.
Second by trustee Griffin. Trustee Chavez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Aye.
And aye from me as well. Motion passes. Item 2, approval of algebra 0 period acceleration job description.
Yes, this is approval of a job at Hillsdale High School that teachers are helping freshman students with Algebra 1. We talked about it at the study session. This is just for the spring semester and it's a stipend position.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Thank you. Motion by trustee Griffin. Can I get a second?
Second.
Trustee Jacobson. Trustee Chavez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Jacobson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So motion passes. Item 3, approval of Bridge Student Success Coordinator job description.
Yes, we have student success coordinators at all the schools, except we don't have one at the Bridge program. This one will have a schedule that will sync up with their schedule at the Bridge program. And it's grant funded for the time being.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I should have asked if there are any questions or comments or anything first, discussion. Okay, can I get a motion to approve item 3?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion by,
Motion.
yeah.
Sorry.
Motion by trustee Griffin. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Chavez seconds, and trustee Chavez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes. Item 4, approval of the tentative agreement between California School Employee Association, Chapter 519, and San Mateo Union High School District for the 2022 to 25 collective bargaining agreement.
I move to approve.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
So motion by trustee Chavez, second by trustee Griffin. Trustee Jacobson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Chavez?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes. Item 5, approval of the 23-24 California School Employees Association salary schedule. Do we have to read any of these out?
Not the salary schedule. This is related to the what you just passed, the agreement that you just passed with the 4% raise.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I move.
Motion by trustee Jacobson,
I'll second that.
trustee Chavez seconds. Can we, so roll call, excuse me. Trustee Jacobson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Chavez,
Aye.
trustee Griffin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, item 6, summary of financial terms of superintendent's employment agreement. The district will consider approving an addendum, an amendment to the employee agreement for Randall Booker to continue to serve as the superintendent of the San Mateo Union High School District. A summary of the financial terms are as follows. The base salary of the superintendent will be $307,000 based upon a 224-day work year. This represents an increase of 4% in the salary, which is the same percentage increase given to all other district employees. The superintendent will receive health and welfare benefits up to $31,093.20, transportation and cell phone reimbursements of $30 a month, various subscriptions and memberships, and reimbursements for approved district expenses. Can I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, that was the summary. And then the next one is the next item is the approval.
I'm
of-
sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. Yes. Item 7, approval of an amendment to the superintendent's employment agreement. Well, is there any discussion or any questions, concerns? Okay. Motion by trustee Chavez. Thank you. Second,
Second.
trustee Jacobson seconds. Trustee Chavez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson,
Aye.
trustee Griffin,
Aye.
trustee Andrade Zuniga votes aye as well. So motion passes. Thank you. All right. Division of Student Services. Nothing. Sorry, I'm going down. Okay, nothing for Division of Instructional Services. Division of Business Services, Mr. Hawkins.
One second, please.
Sure.
I believe, yeah, I think it's important. So Tony Shea from Keegan will be jumping on.
Sure.
Well, I'll start when he's, so at our last meeting, Keegan was here to note, hi, Tony. At our last meeting, Keegan came in and gave an update on the Series C issuance. That's the third of four equal issuances of the Measure L bond program. We have several projects going right now and that are going to plan to start next summer that will need the cash to move forward. So the item tonight in front of you is to approve that issuance, including the timeline of the third of the four financings. We also talked about the potential of maybe having a tender refinancing, tender offer refinancing. The savings in that didn't reach the level that we hoped for to move in order to move forward. So we have put that down for the moment, but we will continue to look for opportunities, even in this higher interest rate environment, to try to save the taxpayers money. So with that, Tony and I are here to answer any questions that you may have around the Series C issuance.
Are there any questions? Concerns? Okay. So we need to make a motion, right? Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you. Motion by Trustee Griffin. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Jacobson. Trustee Chavez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you. The motion passes. I think that's it on that one.
Aye.
Okay. All right. The last item, future board agenda items. Does anyone have any items they would like to add?
Yes. I would like to follow up on the ethnic studies curriculum. That was guide that was supposed to be coming out this fall.
Okay, are there any other requests? Okay. All right. With that, we are able to adjourn. It is 9:25. Thank you. I just want to tell everyone in this room, thank you so much for everything you all do, and my colleagues as well, for just running a really smooth meeting, and despite a lot of high emotions. So thank you.
And Ms. Andrade Zuniga, big thanks to you as well. That was
Yeah.
challenging to facilitate. I
Yeah.
think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
You did excellent.